Welcome to Building Families, Bridging Differences, a family law journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Building Families, Bridging Differences, a family law journey with Shelly Cooley. Shelly is a certified family law specialist and the founder of the Cooley Law Firm in Las Vegas. She focuses exclusively on family law, helping clients with divorce, custody, adoption, and assisted reproduction. And she's known for her compassionate, straightforward approach. I'm Sean O'Connor, and today, Shelly and I are talking about legal name changes and gender marker updates in Nevada. And she's going to go over what the process looks like and what paperwork is required and how people can navigate it with confidence. Shelly, hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me, Sean.
Oh, you bet. I'm doing well. This is a very, in the news kind of topic, and I know there's a lot of probably some new law around this. But when someone is thinking about changing their name or updating a gender marker, how do you explain what the legal process in Nevada generally involves?
So, the legal process in Nevada is quite straightforward.
Okay.
The federal overlap gets a little iffy and sometimes changes on a day-to-day basis. So, we can talk about Nevada, and then I can call attention to where there are potential issues.
Right.
But the process in Nevada is very straightforward.
Got it. Uh, as in submit a form and you're good, so to speak.
So to speak, yes.
Before we get into some of that, the overlaps and the potential state and federal conflicts, what kinds of situations lead people to pursue a name change or gender marker update? And how does the court view these requests? I mean, obviously, marriage is one obvious one.
With marriage, you do not need to do a formal name change
Oh,
process. To change your name after marriage for either party, you need to have your birth certificate. You need to have a copy of your marriage license. And based upon that, you can select your married name. And both parties are able to do that, whether it's same sex or different sex. Um, Everyone has that option. So there's no need to do the name change process that we're talking about in Nevada.
hmm,
The name change and or gender marker change process in Nevada would be for folks who I've represented individuals who just despised their birth names and they wanted to change their birth names and they felt very strongly about it. You're allowed to do that if you're an adult. If you're a child and you want to change your name, you have to have consent of both parties or both parents. And if both parents don't consent, then you have to go before the court and explain why a child's name should be changed. And the child's feelings about that. The other parent has an opportunity to explain why they don't want the child's name changed, and then the court will make a decision based upon on those specific facts and circumstances. But provided you haven't been convicted of a felony and you are not changing your name to avoid or defraud creditors, those are
hmm,
two assertions we have to make in a petition for name change. You can change your name to anything you choose.
hmm. This is a kind of a random question, but we're talking about the no special paperwork needed when I'm getting married, right? You've got your marriage license, and you can choose your married name. Can your married name be any name? You know what I mean? Like we think of a married name being like, oh, I'm taking Cooley as my last name, or vice versa. Could I just like, oh, I actually want my married name to be Joe Blow?
I've actually seen people who, I had friends in law school who got married. Neither of them liked their last names, so they both took a different name.
Oh,
They created a married name together.
that's
They've
interesting.
since gotten divorced, but
No, well,
yeah, it's
it's
it is
doable.
possible.
Okay, I was just the fun fact. you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but for let's say a straightforward adult name change, what documents and steps are usually required before the court will approve it?
Well, in order to file for a name change, and it's the same process for a gender marker change, and we'll get into some of the specifics as well. Um, you have to file a petition for change of name and or gender marker. You file a declaration in support of the petition, which is where the petitioner, so the individual wanting to change their name and or their gender marker, asserts that the all of the assertions in the petition are true and correct. You file a notice of petition, which is the document that if publication is required, it gets published.
Hmm.
And then you prepare the proposed order granting the change of name and or gender marker. With the notice of petition, if an individual is identifies as transgender, then publication is not required. If we are doing a name change alone, then we changed the publication requirement a few years ago to the notice gets published once, and then we wait 10 days, and then we can submit the order granting change of name and or gender marker.
I see. Um, the gender marker update can feel, I think, maybe a little more intimidating for people, and what will the court require of them and such. What do you tell people that in terms of their expectations, when they're filling out that type of petition, what should they expect?
One of the things that the court wants some evidence that the individual is transgender. So all that I need is I request a letter from the individual's treating doctor,
Ah,
who just affirms essentially that yes, this individual is receiving treatment, is identifies as transgender, identifies as male, female, or X. And, just I give the court some type of evidence to
right.
base their decision upon. It's
Got it.
unfortunate that it's not good enough for the person to submit a declaration saying, I identify as transgender, but we have a process. Some states don't have a process for this. So the fact that we have a process to do this and that we are able to do it is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a positive for sure. And always, right? The law catches up with, I mean, not always, but typically I should say the law lags. The law typically, yeah, typically the law lags what's happening culturally, and hopefully it catches up. So, what about in the case of, I'm in the case of a minor, because I know this happens. You mentioned earlier, minor's name change, but a minor's name or gender marker needs to be changed. What additional considerations come into play for parents or guardians?
I have done gender marker changes where for children where both parents are in agreement, which is really best practices, right?
Totally.
Um, Parents should support their children, and if their children identify as transgender, then that certainly is something that we need to support them with. Um, when parents don't agree, then what ends up happening is that we go before the court, and the court is going to want testimony as to why one parent believes the gender marker changes in the best interest of the child. And we'll likely hear from the child depending on the child's age and maturity. If a child is able to make this decision, then is mature enough to voice this opinion and make this decision, then the child is also able to talk to the judge. And then the court is going to want to hear the opinion of the other parent as well. We're finding in research that when children are transgender, when they identify as transgender, the best case scenario as far as outcome for them is supportive parents. So it's really important for the parents to support their children, although that's not always the case, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand. Um, so once the court grants the change, name or gender marker, I know, people are anxious to update their records as quickly as possible. Which agencies or documents tend to require attention first? Is there an order, or is it just certain things take longer, so you're going to want to get on top of one thing ahead of another?
No, there's absolutely an order. So, currently, the first document that you need to change is your birth certificate. Now, one of the issues with changing your birth certificate, and this is something that I talk to clients about from the get-go, is we find out if they're born in Nevada, not a problem at all. We have this process available, easy peasy, we can do it. If you're born in another state, some states are very friendly with regard to gender marker changes, i.e., California is one of them. Some states do not allow you to change your gender marker on your birth certificate. So, that is something that we would discuss during our first conversation because, especially in this climate, you do not want to have a mismatch between your birth record and your other identity documents. So, if the individual had been born in a state that does not allow a gender marker change from the birth certificate, then that would be something we would discuss, maybe to do the name change and to leave the gender marker change or leave the gender marker as is, and attempt to change it at a later date with a more friendly in a more friendly climate,
Hmm.
than to do so now, because you really want to make sure that your documents are all that they match. It creates problems if they do not.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And again, a case where certain states right now don't allow the gender marker change, and fingers crossed in the future, those laws will change.
Well, and then so you asked about the order. So first you
Yeah.
do your birth certificate,
Yep.
then you change your social security card or your social security record. And again, right now, it's iffy if you can change your social security, your assigned birth on your social security record. I have had success doing that within the past year, but as of January, things have gotten a little more dicey, and it's something that we really have to check and be aware of and consider, just for possible ramifications for the future. So again, that would be a situation where, do we want to do the gender marker change right now because of what's going on? How strongly do we feel about this? Do we want to do this? So
Yeah.
that is something that we have to consider. And then once you have your birth certificate and your social security card changed, then you change your driver's license or identification card from DMV, so Nevada DMV, and then you can do your passport change.
Wow. Okay. So that's the sequence:
Yes, that is the sequence.
birth certificate, social security, driver's license, passport.
Yep.
Excellent. What about privacy? Because that's going to come up, of course. What should people understand about how their information is being handled during the process?
These cases are sealed. Name changes and gender marker changes are sealed cases presumptively, so they are not available to the public.
Good to know. Um, we mentioned that sequence of documents, and
Mhm.
some people discover inconsistencies, right, between their legal documents after a change has been granted. How do you help clients resolve those issues smoothly? It sounds like it could be a real, you know, nightmare.
I help the clients change their birth certificate. So I help them get that process started. meaning I obtain a certified copy of the order, prepare the correct form to change the birth certificate. So get all that done. The other items that they want to change, I'm unable to do those. Those are in-person appointments that you have to make. But
Uh,
I'm of the opinion, and many of my clients feel this way also, I believe, because I hear from them over the years, is that once I'm your attorney, I'm always your attorney. So if you have any questions, call me, email me, shoot me a text. We'll figure it out and get you on your way.
Excellent. Excellent. Kind of building on that with just the couple minutes we have left. Uh, someone's out there right now, they're preparing to begin this process. What practical steps will help them, feel most organized and supported from the very beginning? How do you recommend people prepare to get this going?
But I think the best way to do it is to make sure that you have your birth certificate and your social security record,
Hmm.
your driver's license and your passport handy. It's not so much, I don't see it so much now in the days of real IDs, but you would not believe the number of folks in their 60s, 70s, and I even had a lady in her 80s that needed a name change because she couldn't get a real ID because her identity documents all had different names. Way back when, you used to be able to get your social security record and you would tell them, this is my name, and they didn't require documentation. So I have folks that, a birth certificate has one name, social security record has another, their current driver's license has another. So what we do is, and if this is your situation where all of your identity documents have different names, talk to an attorney. Give me a call. If you are comfortable doing it yourself, I'll walk you through it. If you are not comfortable doing it yourself, I can handle it for you. But it's really important to have your identity documents all with the same names. Otherwise, we get into so many issues just as far as your documents not matching. So I have done a ton of these for older individuals, more mature individuals, excuse me. Just because their documents all had different names. So in our petition, we have to connect all the dots.
Yeah.
So then they have their one order that connects everything and allows all the documents to be changed to this specific name.
Got it. Yeah, you kind of have to like draw that roadmap of how we got here. It's like I was born this, and then married here, and that, and
Oh, in some, like one of the individuals who was in her 80s, she had been dating someone, took a job with the federal government, through the individual that she was dating, so she took his last name and just went with a name that she liked. So there,
okay.
yeah, but I mean, that existed in her federal records.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
sometimes connecting the dots, the story is very interesting, and you get a fun picture about the person that you're working with that,
Yeah,
they
yeah. The
have
life.
some stories that,
Oh,
they have some good stories that I'm sure
yeah,
make them smile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting lives led. I love it.
Right.
Uh, well, Shelly, we're out of time for this episode, but as always, great to see you, talk to you. Thanks for sharing your expertise, and I look forward to talking in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Hey, thanks for listening to Building Families, Bridging Differences, a family law journey. To learn more or schedule a consultation with Shelly, visit her website, CooleyLawLV.com. And don't forget to like, leave a review, or subscribe to the program so you don't miss an episode. I'm Sean O'Connor. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like, and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.